There's a small niche market for certain types of investors. The types of properties in this niche market are called value-add properties. And these investors usually have three things in common: a great deal of cash, a sophisticated team including their real estate broker and contractors, and the stomach to take some big and risky leaps. Chances are you've seen these properties just in your daily commute. The empty office buildings, the rundown apartments, the retail center that used to be nice but now it's just so worn out. These are the types of properties that for the right price and the right investor can make huge amounts of income over time, if you have the right stomach for it. First, let me touch a bit on how valuating commercial property works. Please note that this is just a brief touch. Don't go out evaluating properties best in a few minutes of this video, okay? Here we have a $1 million office building. Let's say it has 20 different spaces that it could rent out and only 2 of them are currently rented. Basically, it's pretty much empty. Together, each unit pays $1,000 a month. If you remember from my commercial loan process video, a commercial loan has to pay for itself and then some. With the building listed for $1 million, there's no way you could get a loan that's just under $2,000 a month. Just in taxes and insurance alone is going to cost you more. But wait, if the whole point of commercial investment real estate is to make a profit on the rents, why would I buy something that's going to make me a negative cash flow every month? And this is exactly where value add comes in. The first catch is that you have to buy this property with cash or a hard money lender, as I discussed in my hard money loan video. You may be buying this property for $1 million, but the good thing is that it would cost you much more than that to even build it from scratch. So you're already one step in the right direction. Not only that, but at this price, you could just undercut all the other office landlords and rent your remaining 18 units for $750 a month. With that, you could fill up your units in no time. Now, instead of making just $2,000 a month, you're making over $15,500 a month. This easily translates to a high positive cash flow. Once the property is stabilized with these tenants for a while, you have a few options. First, you can improve on the building and charge the tenants more money once their leases are through. This adds value to your property, making it more desirable and makes tenants more acceptable and willing to pay higher rents since they'd be in an upgraded building. Secondly, if you choose, you could refinance the property. This will free up some funds that you initially invested so you could reinvest it elsewhere. Finally, you could flip the property for a profit. Without getting into detailed numbers, if you do your research and find out that other similar office buildings, which make about the same monthly income of $15,500 in the area, are selling for $2 million, then your property is likely going to be in the same price range. In other words, you had to purchase a struggling property, fix it up, and find new tenants and keep them paying rent. But in the meantime, you've gotten to collect the positive cash flow and you get to sell it again in the future for a huge chunk of cash. For those of you that are a bit more comfortable with homes, let me compare it to residential value add. We all probably know it commonly as flipping houses. Granted, with homes it's on a much shorter time scale, but the concept is still the same. There's a $250,000 house that's completely gutted. No one wants to buy it all cash when they could buy the neighbor's house for $500,000. It could be because they don't have the time, they don't see what the finished project could look like, whatever. Someone comes along and figures out that they can do all the repairs themselves, and after a few months and maybe about $100,000, the home is worth $500,000 just like the neighbor's house. You add the $250,000 home price plus another $100,000 in rehab, that's a $150,000 profit. There is a final catch to all this as well. I mentioned that these investors have a really strong stomach for risk. There's always the potential for something to go wrong in something like this. For instance, let's say that you're unable to rent the units for $750 a month and instead you have to rent them for $500 a month. What is that going to do for your projections? What if the market worsens and you aren't able to sell the property for a profit and instead you have to sell it for a loss? Remember, no one can tell the future. Look at all the sophisticated investors that lost money with the housing bubble. This is why you have to be able to weigh your risk versus what you determine will happen in the future with as much analysis as possible. These niche value add properties aren't usually easy to find, and like I mentioned before, they come with huge risks. This means that even though there might be a huge payoff after the project is completed, there's also a chance you only break even or even lose money. Most people are completely comfortable with making a safe 6 to 12% return versus risking it to make 15 or 25%. This is why having a sophisticated team working for you is absolutely essential. You need to have everything lined up before you even attempt to buy a value add type of property. Weigh all your risks, do all the research and analysis you can, and if you're confident and have the stomach to make some huge profits, then go for it. Now that's good to know.